It is top of the hour, and it is time for Making a Difference. On today's show, we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to bring you the history and some statistics about the wonderful Budweiser Clydesdale. Now, at this time, I would like to say that the sponsor of my show is the Gulf Theater at the Military Heritage Museum. And this show contains the Clydesdales, and in no way are we sponsored by Budweiser, nor have they asked us to promote them or any alcoholic beverages. So, just to make that clear, I just wanted to be able to give you some really interesting facts about those amazing, magnificent, huge horses. So, I'm going to begin by talking to you about the Clydesdales. Now, I have my notes here because I can't put all that up there. But to start off with, and I'm going to be sharing my screen with you. For those of you that are listening on the radio, boy, it would be well worth it for you to get home at some point and tune in to Facebook, Making a Difference, and watch this video because we're going to have some pictures and things that you're going to want to see. So I will start off by saying that these Clydesdales go back a long, long time. They go back to the back into the 18th century, and that is when farmers living along the banks of the River Clyde in Lanarkshire, Scotland, imported a few Flemish horses. And I want to show you these Flemish horses. You'd never think that they would start out this way, but I hope we're able to see that. Let me work out my technical issues here.
Okay, while you're doing that, CJ, and I'm on the side here, I'm checking CJ's show, and it's the first time she had a little hiccup putting the show together, so we figured we'd take it live. And CJ, the horses came into Punta Gorda just recently, and you were there.
Yes, I was, and I hope in a few moments to be able to share that video feed with you. So we're gonna go over that, but this is a picture of a Flemish horse, and these are the horses that were imported from the French, and they were mated with local mares. And when that happened, the birth of the Clydesdale began. And then in the 19th century, are you seeing any of these?
No, and I don't see it in the bottom of the screen either.
Okay.
So yeah, you have to share it where you pick it. And I don't, because we're live on air right now. When you do it, CJ, you got to share it and then pick the screen you're sharing and then say share screen, and then I'll see it and I can bring it up for you.
Okay.
And I'm sorry to the audience. This is brand new to CJ to be able to share her screen. And here at WKDW, CJ, we're wishing everybody a Merry Christmas.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
And hopefully the station manager will pop on again. He was having technical difficulties, but he was going to join us. So, RJ, if you're listening out there, because I know that you are listening right now, come on and pop on with us, and so people will see what the station manager with a red nose looks like. And there was a reference to that. So, CJ, if you can just send me your pictures, or if they're someplace out on the internet, I can grab them for you.
Okay, well, maybe perhaps that might be a good way to go. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and continue on with this information about the Clydesdales. The the first, despite their imposing size, shires are known as gentle giants, and that's where part of the Clydesdale size came from. They're calm, they're docile, and they don't startle easily, which makes them perfect for a parade. They're eager to please and willing to work, and they have immense strength, which enables them to pull extremely heavy loads. And the breed was first introduced in 1826, and then thousands of Clydesdales were exported to many countries around the world, particularly Australia and New Zealand. And in the early 20th century, their numbers began to fall. And this was due to machines being used in the farming industry, and they weren't used anymore. And then they also used them in the First World War. So by the 1970s, the organization called the Rare Breed Survival Trust, they listed them as at risk, vulnerable to extinction. So, that's a pretty scary thing. This large and powerful horse, although it's not as heavy as it was in the past, it was traditionally used as a draft horse to pull wagons and loads of hay and farming agriculture. And they also used them on the roads to haul gravel and things like that. But now anymore, it's principally a carriage horse. It can be ridden or driven, usually in parades or processions. And some have been used as a drum horse, which it's just a heavy riding horse. The Arabian Nights and things like that will ride them in processions. So, there's a lot of things. But in the United States, the Anheuser-Busch Brewery uses the match team of 8 to pull the beer wagon for publicity. I'm going to see if I can't get some of these pictures off to Marie so that she can see them.
Welcome.
Oops, sorry again.
You've got mail.
Well, you know where I have my email. And yes, I'm old-fashioned and I use AOL. It has been kind to me, so I continue to use it. In 2010, the Clydesdale was listed. It went up a grade to watch by the American Livestock Breeds, meaning that fewer than 2,500 horses were registered in the USA, and there were fewer than 5,000 worldwide. So this amazing, beautiful horse is, it's rare. And I really give credit to Budweiser because they have many farms, which I'll get into, where they encourage breeding and they breed them. And, I don't know what we would do if we didn't have Budweiser to take care of them and raise them. So the history of the Budweiser Clydesdales, now that comes along, and in April of 1933, August A. Bush Jr. and Adolphus Bush III, they surprised their father, August A. Bush Sr. Boy, something about those Bushes and their generations. Anyway, they surprised their dad with a gift of 6-horse Clydesdale hitch. And this was to commemorate the repeal of the prohibition of beer. And so, realizing the marketing potential of the horse-drawn beer wagon, The company also arranged to have a second 6-horse Clydesdale hitch sent to New York to mark the event. The Clydesdale drew a crowd of thousands on their way to the Empire State Building. After a small ceremony, a case of Budweiser was presented to former Governor Alfred E. Smith in appreciation for his years of service in the fight against prohibition. The hitch continued on. They toured around New England and the mid-Atlantic states. Thousands of people saw them and were just amazed at the awesomeness of this sight. And before stopping in Washington, D.C. in April 1933 to reenact the delivery of the first cases of Budweiser, they redid that and presented a case to President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. So shortly after the hitch was introduced, the 6-horse Clydesdale team increased to 8. On March 30th, 1950, in commemoration of the opening of the Anheuser-Busch Newark Brewery, a Dalmatian was introduced as the Budweiser's Clydesdale mascot. Now a Dalmatian travels with each of the Clydesdale's hitches. Now I want to tell you a little something that I was pretty impressed with about the Dalmatian. The Dalmatian is a breed of medium-sized dog, and it's noted for the unique white coat mark with black or brown colored spots. It originated as a hunting dog. It is also used as a carriage dog in early days. Males and females will stand between 9 and 24 inches tall, and the origins of this historical breed can be traced back to present-day Croatia. I'm sorry, folks, it's Christmas. Croatia and the historical region of Dalmatia. It is thought that early ancestors of the breeds were certain breeds of pointers and a spotted Great Dane. Today, it's a great family pet, and it's a mascot for fire departments as well as Anheuser-Busch. And a lot of dog enthusiasts will enter them into kennel club competitions. Dalmatians were created to run for miles alongside carriages, helping to ward off highwaymen and add a touch of flair to the vehicles with aerostats in them. They are not only highly active, but also they're very intelligent. They're easily to train in early life. The Dalmatian is a smart dog with a sly sense of humor. I like that part. And will do his best to make you laugh. The Dalmatian is alert and interested in everything that goes on around him and makes an excellent watchdog. So, good for the Dalmatians. They're an awesome breed of dog. I do want to say that how the Dalmatians came to be a mascot is right after Prohibition, when Budweiser started making beer deliveries using the Clydesdales and the hitch. They had the Dalmatian sitting on top of the beer cases in back. And his main job was to watch, because when the hitch driver would stop to make a delivery, people were snitching cases of beer off the back of the wagon. So the dog was put there to watch out and alert the driver when he was being distracted by his delivery. So thus, the wonderful Dalmatian now has earned a seat right up front with the drivers. So that's a little bit about how that Dalmatian came to be. The official home of the Budweiser Clydesdale is a very ornate brick and stained glass stable house or building built in 1885 on the historic 100-acre Anheuser-Busch Brewery complex in St. Louis. And when I saw this stable, I was in amazement. It's huge, it's beautiful, it's very ornate. There we go. For those on video, you can see the inside of these stables. It's they're not stables that a lot of us are used to. So today, the Budweiser Clydesdale, they continue to be the symbol of the brewer's heritage, tradition, and commitment to quality. They make hundreds of appearances across the country each year. So to properly prepare these Clydesdales for their appearances, a team of dedicated handlers oversee their care. Expert groomers travel on the road with the hitch, and they do that at least 10 months out of the year. Another team oversees their diet. Each hitch horse will consume as much as 20 to 25 quarts of whole grains, vitamins, and minerals, 50 to 60 pounds of hay. It's amazing they have any teeth left. And up to 30 gallons of water on a warm day. So, when the horses are on tour, when they're doing performances and things like that, it takes 3 semis to transport there's 10 horses that go. They have 2 as a backup, the wagon, and all of the equipment that goes with these horses. Now, when they do go on the road, they will make stops periodically at very specific stables in order to rest the horses and, do whatever grooming or anything that they need to do. Now, I will tell you those semis, of course, they are air cushion rides, and they have rubber floors in them so that it doesn't stress the horse from standing so long for long periods of time as they travel. The question comes up, can any Clydesdale be a Budweiser Clydesdale? And no, the answer is no. In order to be able to join the hitch, there's certain criteria that they want the horse to meet. It must stand at least 18 hands high, and that's 6 foot. How many of you know what a hand measurement is? I will tell you. It goes back to ancient Egypt. A hand measurement is an adult male man. It's the width of his hand from going across it like that. So if something, and that's 4 inches. So if something is 3 hands, 1, 2, 3, it would be a foot. So you see how they measure them? So the Clydesdale has to be 18 hands high. It must be neutered and at least 4 years old. It must be a male horse, of course. Have a bay coat, 4 white stockings, a blaze of white on the face, a black mane, and a black tail. They must weigh between 1,800 and 2,300 pounds. Now, when it comes to shoeing a horse, can you imagine having that horse stand on your foot? Oh my goodness. That would be a little bit too much. When it comes to travel and an appearance, there are, as I said earlier, the 10 horses, the famous red, white, and gold beer wagon, and other equipment. And those semis that they travel in, they're 50 foot long. There's cameras that are mounted in the trailers and are connected to monitors in the cab, so that enables the drivers to keep a watchful eye on their precious cargo. Air cushion suspension, as I said, and the thick rubber flooring eases the rigor of traveling. And the team will stop at night at local stables so that the Clydesdales can rest. I said that earlier too. The team also travels with hitch drivers. They endure a lengthy training process before they can assume the prestigious role of the Budweiser Clydesdale hitch driver. Driving the hitch, that's not easy. It's a combined 12 tons of wagon and horses, and it requires expert skill and physical strength. The 40 pounds of lines held by the driver, plus the tension of the horses pulling, creates a weight of more than 75 pounds. Presently, the Budweiser Clydesdales reside at 3 places. They're Anheuser-Busch breweries. Oh boy, can't say that one. In St. Louis, Merrimack, New Hampshire, and Fort Collins, Colorado. And these are places where the public can go in and view. Visitors can also see the Clydesdale up close at Warm Spring Ranch, which is the premier Budweiser Clydesdale breeding establishment in Boonville, Missouri. That's right in the center of the state and just west of Columbia, Missouri. When they're not making appearances around the country, the Clydesdale continue to be marketing tools for Anheuser-Busch. The first commercial of the Super Bowl was in 1986, and they've since appeared in more than 25 Super Bowl commercials. It's just amazing. Oh, and that harness that they wear is so beautiful. It's made up of brass and leather and linen threads. Weighs 130 pounds. That's nothing to a horse that's as big as these are. So I really hope that you all have enjoyed today's show. Marie, did you have any questions you wanted to ask?
No, we have to, and we only have 20 seconds left. So, CJ, I learned a lot. I didn't know all this about the Clydesdale. They're such a beautiful horse, and if you ever get an opportunity to see them, I would recommend that. CJ, we got to wrap up. Your show is almost done here.
Tune in next time to Making a Difference. I'm your host, CJ Metcalf.